welcome to another episode of the We Don't Know Either podcast.
Oh, you can't see it.
That's how you start? You can't even say hi to the people. You just start with like, I can't even see it.
You said hi. You're a very demanding co-host.
You're the ones who was like, I'm ready. Are you ready? Hello.
I said, oh my God, hurry up. I wanted to show off my plushies.
Yeah. Well,
look, he's got a tail and a cape. My daughter bought them for me.
That's so nice of her.
Mm-hmm. She loves her mama.
Well, somebody does at least. Anyway.
A lot of people love me.
I forgot to put this out there. I got YouTube. So, we are having a special guest. She says she should be here at 9:30 because I believe she's on the East Coast. So that's in about 8:30 now. So about a half hour. Gabby from the Wolf Project will be.
Yeah, people keep tagging me in her videos.
Do they?
Mm-hmm.
Well, I'm hoping that's a good thing. I'm hoping you guys get along. And because she is a pedo hunter, and yeah, she's got her. It's called the Wolf Project Inc. I had her shirt, but I think my kid took it because it's got a cool picture on the back of it. It's a picture of the devil, and it's pretty fucking rad. I mean, I have and if you go to my new TikTok page, which is just.davy.
Oh, that's new. Do I follow you?
I don't know. I know you liked my stuff, probably. But that is my kind of recovery and faith page that I started. I'm not even paying attention. I got to put this out to everybody because I'm not good at doing that kind of stuff. But yeah,
next week will be wild. Because we'll have, like, you're not kidding, right? Like, you're not going to be mean to my kid.
Because she's like, up.
She really thinks she's.
I would not be mean to your kid. I would be mean to you in front of your kid, but not.
Oh, that's fine. She's used to that. No, she's just thinking that you're a Swiftie. So, like, you're not kidding, right?
Did you see the shirt I sent you?
It could have been your wife's.
That big? My wife's not that big. My wife is a small lady.
I don't know. I'm fat.
My wife is not a small lady. My wife is a small lady. So yeah, no, no, that was mine. That was I wore that to the Taylor Swift concert. It's actually a chive shirt, which is funny, but I wore that to the Taylor Swift concert that I went to a couple years ago with my daughter, where we danced to "Shake It Off in the Rain," and it's probably one of the best memories of my entire life.
Actually, in Seattle at her concert, when Shake It Off played, they triggered a 3.2 earthquake.
Yeah. Seattle.
I was up all night watching the one at SoFi last night.
Were you?
Yeah.
It's so good, isn't it? She does a great. I'm sorry. She just has a great concert.
The problem is I can't find someone streaming it live that isn't on like the top level. So
$400 a ticket up in the on the lights.
Oh, I know, but it's like I can't hear her. But yeah, my daughter's
concert on somebody's phone.
Yeah, I know, but all I hear is the fan singing. I want someone close up. My daughters went and here I actually have a picture of how close they were.
Yeah, we were really we were closest. I have a Taylor Swift pic that her dad handed out to to people at that concert. That's how close we were. Out of nowhere, this dude just comes up and starts giving pics to people, and me and my daughter got one, and I was like, oh, these are cool. And then I went to go look it up, and nobody has them. They're not even for sale. I'm like, this is awesome.
That's how close my kids were.
Let's see.
Well, we'll get into that next week when she comes on.
Yeah, we will definitely get into that next week. But yeah. So she will be on in a few. She just had something she had to do. And
Okay.
I can't find the picture. Anyway, but yeah, I'll find it for next week so that way I have it. But yeah, we were going to talk about the indictment. I listened to it on YouTube. Thank you to YouTube for supplying that ability.
I read that whole thing like the second it came out.
It's dumb.
What do you mean it's dumb?
It's dumb. It's nothing but conspiracy. That's all it is.
How do you come up with
because it says it in the first paragraph that he has the right to disagree with an election, just like every other, like they did in 2016, like they did with Bush.
Yes, he has the right. He has the right, but he does not have the right to continuously gaslight his supporters.
Yes, he does.
No, he doesn't.
He has absolute right to say whatever he wants. Gaslighting is not illegal.
Okay, but you didn't let me finish my sentence. He gaslit he gaslit his supporters to get them to do what they did on January 6th.
You think that was illegal. All his supporters?
It doesn't matter if it was or wasn't. That's what his intention was. And he says
How do you know what his intention was?
Because he fucking said it.
What'd he say?
In the indictment.
What'd he say?
When they said that he was in the Oval Office on January 5th and you could hear people shouting outside, he said, "Don't worry, they'll be angrier tomorrow." Yeah. And even after...
Wait, hold on. Wait, he said it where?
In the Oval Office.
And who was listening?
Whoever testified.
That's it. So he didn't say anything to the people. He didn't tell everybody to get angrier
tomorrow. Because of all the fucking tweets and all the shit that he said, the altered video from Atlanta, the lawsuits.
What altered videos from Atlanta?
The video, I think it's this one where they had the water leak. It might be a different one, but it was with the suitcases underneath of the tables. They altered it. Mark Meadows even testified to it. It's in the indictment.
That Mark Meadows, who altered it?
No, Mark Meadows told Trump that they went through it frame by frame and some special task force did not find anything. So there is nothing there. He knew very early on that there was no election fraud. And the charge conspiracy, it means planning or working with someone else. That's what the legal conspiracy is.
Legal conspiracy means that somebody, what was it? I heard a lawyer.
I know exactly what it is. I have a felony.
It's a broad term to get people to cop a plea.
No, it's not.
Yes, it is.
The legal term of conspiracy is either working with someone else or planning. I have a felony of criminal conspiracy because when I got arrested for the drugs, I had a co-defendant. But he knew what he was doing. He knew he was lying to get people all worked up. And even after January 6th happened, shut up. Even after he called Mike Pence and still was telling Mike Pence to adjourn for 10 days. Why? He knew. And he admitted on January 3rd that he knew he had lost. It's in the indictment.
From him or from somebody else?
It's quoted.
It's hearsay. It's hearsay.
So the only way that that's true is if you're going to sit here and say that every single person that went to the grand jury lied under oath. Is that your argument? That they've been
lying under oath for how long? They lied when he got indicted.
Giuliani,
they literally lied.
Jenna Ellis, Mike Pence, all of them are lying.
Probably. I don't know. Mike Pence is out there right now telling everybody that Trump is garbage. Meanwhile,
he is garbage.
He's a garbage person. Yeah, we know that. But still, Mike Pence is out there trying to become president now. So Mike Pence will say, listen, they were under oath when the indictments were going on, yet Adam Schiff made up an entire monologue of shit that didn't happen.
Okay, but that has nothing to do with January 6th and the
Yes, he
crimes.
did. That was the January 6th indictment.
What
That was the
monologue are
January
you
6th
talking about?
committee when Adam and
But this isn't coming from the committee. This is coming from this is a grand jury indictment.
So that's okay for Adam Schiff on a January 6th committee
How many
to
people-
lie about everything. How many times did Fauci lie and say that he was
broke into the Capitol, broke in and stole things when Adam Schiff did it?
I don't think anybody did. I don't think
You don't
anybody
think
went in-
anyone broke? I saw people in the damn Capitol on TikTok lives.
Yeah, they were in the Capitol.
You had
And
the
what were they doing?
lectern guy that stole a lectern on
He
your
didn't-
other show.
Oh, he what? Say that again, please. Say that again.
Didn't he take the lectern or something?
Oh. No, actually, he
don't-
moved it. He only moved it 10 feet. Thanks for watching. Thanks for knowing the facts. He just took a picture of it, and then put it back down. He didn't steal shit. But you know what?
Whatever.
People
Oh,
like
it was a
you
laptop
will
that was stolen. It was
continue-
I got confused. It was a laptop that was stolen. There were
Yeah.
things that were taken.
And that
from
person
Nancy
should go to
Pelosi's
jail.
office.
And
Yeah.
that person should go to jail. I have no problem with that. You steal something, you do something stupid, you go to jail.
Okay,
but
so
you got
let
all
me
these
ask you
cops who were
this.
saying they were beat with video footage of them not even being
It
touched.
doesn't negate what Trump did. Okay, let me
What
ask
did he
you
do?
this.
He gaslit people. Ooh.
Yeah. Okay.
It's
so
not
do
illegal.
do you agree with the people that Charles Manson gaslit into murdering people, going to jail, or do you think they should? Do you think
they murdered people? There's a difference.
it's not? What's the difference?
We own the Capitol.
We don't own the Capitol.
Yes, we. How do you think all that stuff is paid for?
Okay, listen.
Fairy dust and shit darts.
I can own my house. Not that I live in a house, but I could own a house and burn it down. It's still arson.
Because you got to pay taxes to it.
But that's the thing. Like, just because
and it depends
just
if you have
because
insurance or not.
Just because we own the Capitol building doesn't give people the right to break in and to stop the certification of votes.
And they
which
didn't.
Is
and
they
didn't.
did for a few hours.
They didn't, and they were all gone before anybody even got in there. And once again, this could have been avoided if they allowed this. If they allowed for the National Guard to be there, but they said no.
Okay.
There was a guy in Tucker Carlson that just said he asked for help.
Okay. So why would Trump want the National Guard there?
To make sure nothing happened.
Why would he think something happened? It's very extreme.
No, actually, Trump didn't want the National Guard there. Trump said we might need some extra security, just in case.
That's not what everyone's saying.
It's in the. I don't care what everybody's saying. It's in the affidavit that Trump said.
Why would he need beef up security if it was going to be a peaceful protest?
Why did they have gates around the White House right now? Why did they have gates around the White House when Trump was there? Why did they have the gates around when Trump was there? Because they were worried about stupid people doing stupid things. You can't blame. Listen, that's like blaming somebody who says, "Listen, McDonald's sucks. I think all the food sucks. I think McDonald's should no longer exist."
Look at what's happening in Union Square.
I will mute the shit out of you. I'll mute the shit out of you. Okay? It's like saying, I wish all the McDonald's were gone, and then somebody goes and burns down a McDonald's, and then you try to get them for conspiracy to burn down a McDonald's. All they said was, I wish McDonald's was gone.
It's a crime.
It's not a crime.
Why do you think I won't say my parents' names? Because if anything happens to them, I can be held criminally responsible.
Well, you don't want to say your parents' names because it's like Beetlejuice. You say it 3 times and they'll show up.
They show up whether I say it or not.
But yeah, it is all a distraction. It is all a distraction. Look what happened in the last couple.
From what? From Hunter Biden?
We just got downgraded. Yeah, another
from
president,
aliens. From all the shit that everybody is talking about. Exactly how distracted are they?
1,000% distracted.
How are they? If they're talking about these things nonstop,
the Hunter Biden thing, that went over like a lead balloon. That went over like a fucking helium balloon. Nobody's really talking about it. CNN's not talking about it. They're all talking about Trump.
To talk about. They rejected now it's going
the president of the United States right now and the vice president at the time's son, Well, that's why he's president right now. They're waiting for him to croak so that way the other cocksucker from California could take over. But he was the vice president's son was making money because he was the vice president's son. That's different than
one man's crime does not negate another.
Joe Biden was in on it.
Okay, but what Hunter and Joe did has nothing to do with what Trump did.
And he didn't do half as the shit that they did.
Do you remember the video that came out?
No.
Where they showed people trying to get into the Michigan state capitol that were saying that they were the Republican electors and the Democrats were not letting them in. Do you remember seeing that?
Yeah.
Trump sent those people there. That was part of the plan. It's in the indictment that they were sending people that were not electors to pose as electors.
You know, you have the right to do. They have the
right to act like electors.
Let me bring this up because you're dumb.
I'm not dumb.
Let me bring this up because you're dumb.
Brainwashed by Trump.
I'm not. Listen, I don't care if Trump wins or he doesn't win. I'm just saying that all this shit that's going on is not what we should be talking about. Trump being a piece of shit.
It is absolutely what we should talk about, because I can tell you right now, when I cast my vote in November of next year,
you can't vote. You're a felon.
That's not true. Felons are allowed to vote in every state. But I'm
going to write my congressman because I don't like that. It's wrong. Should not be done.
Why? Because I sold drugs when I was 19. I shouldn't be allowed to vote at 40.
I thought you were going to say at 9. Because when I
but that's the thing is, it's what they did. It's disgusting, and we'll never know. Like, we won't trust the process anymore.
Who's not going to trust the process?
Nobody is.
Nobody's trusted the process since fucking the hanging Chad. Are you out of your mind? Nobody's trusted the process since that.
I did for a long time.
Yeah. Well, everybody keeps calling it a democratic democracy. It's not. It's a democratic republic.
It's not even a democratic republic. It's just a straight republic. It's a constitutional republic. I actually did a show about it. We should do it here.
I need to take a constitutional.
But it's not just one thing. It was over and over. He was being told that he lost, and he was refusing to admit that he lost. No, on the thing,
it was saying that he confronted a lawyer, and the lawyer told him that he could do that.
And he was told by the Georgia Attorney General that there were not over 10,000 dead people that voted. There was 2. He was told in Pennsylvania that the 205,000 people that were...
Explain this to me.
It is illegal for people to go up and take pictures of votes being counted.
People weren't. There was people.
That is exactly what was happening. They were
holding out Republican counters. They were not allowing Republican counters.
It's in the indictment that's not true. That's the video that I was talking about. They were not holding them out. They sliced that video to make it look like that happened. Mark Meadows was on the ground there. So are you saying he's a liar?
Mark Meadows? Sure. Yeah.
So everyone is a liar, but Trump is the only one.
I didn't say Trump wasn't a liar either.
But he lied to the American people. He lied to his supporters for months about a rigged election when there was no proof of it.
I'm sorry, Stacey Abrams is still saying she lost the election because she was cheated.
Okay, but how much has she lied and fabricated evidence and
every single time? How did he fabricate evidence?
Lawsuits with
How did he fabricate the evidence?
Because they sliced that video.
Who?
He continued. I told you about it.
Mark Meadows did?
No. Mark Meadows went down there and watched the video, and it even says in the indictment that they sliced it. Please don't put Trump on. I don't want to fucking see his face.
You keep it up, and I'm gonna put him as my face. But listen to this.
Vice President. Federal law says all election disputes at the state level need to be wrapped up by December 8th so the electors can cast their ballots on December the 14th. Now, each state governor has got to certify the electors' votes and then send them on to Congress. So the results aren't official until the new Congress counts those ballots on January the 6th. Now, it's usually a straightforward process, but let's say one of the candidates questions the legitimacy of the state's count. The governor could choose not to certify the electors' votes, or, though this is really unlikely, the state legislature could decide to contest the election and send a different count to Congress, meaning Congress could end up with no results or with competing results from the same state. Now, that's a violation of federal law, so Congress would no longer have to honor that state's electors at all. Now, the House and the Senate can then decide which result is valid or throw out the votes from that state altogether. Now, I know you think I'm crazy, but this actually happened. It was 1876, shortly after the Civil War. Samuel Tilden won the popular vote, but there were 19 electoral votes in dispute. Congress had to step in and broker a compromise. Rutherford Hayes was eventually named president in exchange for the end of Reconstruction and the withdrawal of federal troops from the South. Here's where things get even more interesting. If a candidate still doesn't have a majority of electoral votes by the end of this process, the 12th Amendment says the House of Representatives decides who will be president, and each state delegation gets one vote. The Senate picks a vice president. No matter what happens, somebody has got to take the oath of office on January 20th.
So help me God.
If both the president and the vice president are
Wait,
still
go back a
undecided,
second.
the Speaker of the House temporarily.
Holy shit, has he changed? Fucking look
Joe?
how young, but yeah, look how young he looks.
I don't think that was
Okay.
election. I think that was his VP. When he was VP, I think that's when that was, because he didn't look like, I don't think he looked like that on election day.
I don't remember. Hold on. Okay, look up, because I did one with somebody else, and yes, the electors can. No, that is him on Inauguration Day. Ugh. But unless he wore the same suit when he was vice president, which is just as
He
possible.
got old quick.
So
then.
the electors do not have to
oh.
go with the populist vote of their state.
Yeah,
And it has happened multiple times. And in almost every election, it's happened. But never in the history of this country has it been enough to overturn the results of the election. Not once.
1876.
Mm-mm.
1876, they just said it. They didn't have enough
That
electors.
no,
so
that's you see, that's the thing. You're not listening to me. Electors don't
I
have to
never
go
do.
with. I know you don't. Electors don't have to go with what the popular vote is. That's why we're a republic and not a democracy. But they don't have to. But it's never been enough to overturn the election. The fraud that happened in 2020, yes, it did happen, and it's shown in the indictment. But it was not enough to overturn the election. But Trump just kept pushing, and he wouldn't stop.
And that's illegal.
It is illegal.
It's not illegal.
100. Yes, it is.
How? He has
It's because of the cause and effect, because of what happened as a result to what he did. He could have gone on and sat there, but he was calling on people to go down to the Capitol building. He was calling on them to go to the rally.
peacefully protest.
It doesn't matter if he said peacefully, it wasn't peaceful. But
It's not his fault. He said to go peacefully protest.
He was inciting people.
Okay,
And
so then
honestly,
everybody,
you're
so then
gonna
every
sit here-
congressman and every senator who went out and encouraged people to riot during the Summer of Love should have the same
that
thing.
has nothing to do with what Trump did. And yes, they all should be arrested.
Okay, but they're not. But they're trying to go after him. That's what pisses me off. I don't give a shit about fucking
Okay, but
orange
if you
hippopotamus.
want one side to be arrested,
what I'm talking about is the hypocrisy in the entire fucking thing.
So
They went after Donald Trump. They went after Donald Trump's son for killing a boar in another country, but yet they're giving this guy, but they're giving Joe Biden's son a pass because maybe he was on drugs.
What pass is Joe Biden getting? Because
his son, did you not see his son threw away a gun after saying he wasn't a drug addict, and that's a 10-year mandatory sentence? And they went, nah, we're not giving him anything.
No, the judge rejected the plea, and it's going to trial.
Yeah, now. But if they had another judge, which thank God they had.
Do you know how hard that would have been to prosecute? They would have had to prove that he was an active addict at the time he filled out the application.
He admitted on many interviews.
He got in trouble because he lied on his whatever form application,
and they would have to prove that he was.
But they would have to prove that he was actively an addict, not actively using, actively an addict, which is very hard. That's why they gave him the offer. He
said it on an interview, and then he didn't register as a foreign. He didn't register under the FARA Act either.
And none of that has to do with what Trump did. See, this is a problem with Trump supporters.
I'm not.
It's Hunter this. It's Joe Biden this. It's Maxine Waters this.
I'm talking about the hypocrisy.
Okay, but if you want to end the hypocrisy, you have to accept that your guy broke the law and he needs to go to jail for it.
The problem, and I don't care if he did, he did. I don't care. That's fine with me. If he goes to jail, I'm voting for Vivek if he's on the ballot anyway. If in the primary I get a chance to vote, I'm voting for Vivek anyway. But I'm talking about the hypocrisy and the bullshit that we're going through, and they lie to us constantly, and they want to keep us lying. I don't give a shit about any of them. I care about my pocket. That's all I care about. Well, let me rephrase that. I don't care about my pocket. I care about what God has sent me here to do. But what I'm saying is, I just think the hypocrisy is bullshit, and they're trying, and all this bullshit. Stuff is going to come down on us. If you think, once again, he was right when he said, if you think they're coming after me, they're not. They're coming after you. Joe Biden has been sitting there telling everybody that Bidenomics is working, yet we just got downgraded from a AAA to a AA. Baseball team. So now we're not getting paid as much. You know what I mean? Like, my name is Jorge Hancho Fanchada, so we're screwed. Our interest rates are going to go up. He said, I'm not going to give anybody else. This is gaslighting. I'm not going to raise taxes on anybody doing making less than $400,000. And the gas prices skyrocketed. Everything has gone to shit. Okay. You want to talk about gaslighting?
And none of that changes what Trump
the
did.
Problem is they're going after him only and nobody else. That's my problem.
Okay, but the thing is, so when the whole thing went down with Hillary and the emails, she went under investigation for it. Yeah, it should have gone a different way. She should have been indicted, but it opened the door to these kinds of investigations.
To him.
Not to him, to other people. They're investigating Swalwell and that fucking...
And he got away with it. And he's gotten away with it.
Okay.
He's gotten away with it. They didn't do anything. They gave him a slap on the wrist.
Now, that may change if we take more. If it may change. This is where you're so blindsided about it.
I'm blind for everything. I'm blindsided about everything.
If they take down a former president, it will open the door and set precedent for it to happen to other ones.
It's not. It's not. Joe Biden.
You don't know that
Joe
yet.
Biden should be impeached for the Burisma thing, and the Republican Party and the Republican Party.
But you know
has
what?
No
you really want
fucking
Kamala
balls.
Harris as president? I am totally
the
fine
Republican.
with them.
I would love her as the president because they would just be. She
no.
had no idea what to do. I love chaos. I can't help it. But listen, he should be indicted. But the Republican Party has no fucking balls, and this is what I'm talking about. This is why I say I'm a rhino. I'm as fat as one, but I'm a rhino. I'm a Republican in name only because there's no other party out there that I can vote for that has even part of the interests that I have. Okay? Because I'm not voting Democrat because None
You're
of them. I mean,
probably
actually, you
like
know
I
what?
am,
I
a
voted for one
libertarian.
Democrat recently, and it was our governor here because she was the one who gave us constitutional carry, and she's not crazy. Okay, she's not crazy, so I voted for her.
You're probably a libertarian, like
I'm
I
also
am,
yeah. I'm in the middle more. I would rather
or a
I believe
constitutionalist.
I rather just the 10 original 10 uh our guest is here. She's probably like, why are these two idiots yelling?
That's what we do. No, but
Ladies and gentlemen, from the Wolf Project, I'm not going to listen to you anymore. That's it. We're done with this
you're
conversation.
wrong.
You're wrong.
I'm
Ladies and
never
gentlemen,
wrong. I'm
from the
always
Wolf
right.
Project,
I have a tweet to prove it.
Everybody,
Gabby
what's
Hopkins.
going on?
Hi.
What's up? David can't handle that I'm right and he's wrong 99.9% of the time.
And that makes sense. I stand by that. Yeah.
I mean, listen, she's not wrong. No woman's usually ever wrong when it comes to me. I'm usually wrong 99.999% of the times. But that 1% of the time, I'll hold on to it and remind you for about 10 minutes and then I'll forget.
Phenomenal job here today.
Gabby, how are you? It's been a long time. Last time we saw you, you were in your car.
Yeah.
And now you are actually in a house, home, apartment, condo.
I'm in a house. Yeah. Can you believe it?
I am so happy for you. I've watched you kind of grow, and I'm so happy for you, and I'm so proud of the things that you have done and accomplished.
I've watched you grow like a weed.
Me? I've grown like a fucking like a tulip that nobody knows how to deal with.
A tulip that no one knows how to deal with. That's solid.
I don't know what's that flower or orchid. That's it. An orchid. You have to be very delicate with it, or else the orchid
That
is
is my favorite flower. Do not compare yourself to my favorite flower.
Listen,
you are like the cactus that I dried out.
Oh my gosh.
I wouldn't disagree with you.
It just fell over one day, and I brought it to a nursery. They're like, how the fuck did you dry out a cactus? I'm like, I don't know. I don't even have thumbs, let alone green ones.
But yeah, Gabby, you want to let everybody know a little bit about yourself?
I'm sure. Hi, my name is Gabrielle Hopkins. I'm the founder of the Wolf Project, which she's mentioned a couple times. We're known as the pedophile hunting nonprofit. But what we say we do is we collect data. So we have this network of bait accounts or decoy accounts, and we seek to answer the question of how often are adults approaching minors online, and then how often do those adults lead a conversation to a sexual nature with a minor. And then we take that information and that data that we collect and we present it to our communities, but we see it as our responsibility to report anyone who chooses to incriminate themselves. And so that's why we get the reputation as the pedophile hunting nonprofit. So yeah, that's a little bit about me and what I do.
Yeah, I keep getting tagged in your videos by my followers.
She's a child sex trafficking survivor.
Wow.
A big one. Like
Did you just call me fat?
Yeah,
well, that
was an interesting take. Yeah.
I mean, listen. You called yourself fat 17 times before she even got here.
Allowed
and we
to.
just started half hour ago.
I'm allowed to call myself fat. You aren't.
You're not fat, Kelly. You're PHAT.
Well, I don't know anything about your story, so fill me in.
I was trafficked by my parents for 26 years. And when I escaped them, I was then groomed and kidnapped by a man who then trafficked me as well. I've been gone about 14 years now next month.
And do you talk to your parents any now?
Yeah. I've had a restraining order since like a month after I escaped.
Good for you. Wow.
I'm getting hired at her mom's funeral to sing Ding Dong, the Witch is Dead.
No, you have to sing it for her.
As all three
sing it for her now.
Of the Munchkins, what?
No,
the witch is dead. The wicked witch, no witch. Ding dong, the wicked witch is dead. Oh well.
It's actually spot on. Disconcerting.
No, I told him I was going to show up to their funeral with Bon Voyage balloons and playing Ding Dong, the Witch is Dead on my phone. And He said to send a barbershop quartet, and then he went on and did that. I'm like, you're hired.
I will definitely join you in that. I'll show up and whatever I have to. So for free, you don't got to pay me. I'll do it.
Yeah,
Listen,
he's
but
an asshole, and I'll
I
make
want to
me
know,
pay him.
Gabby, like if we're walking on the street, you're walking on the side by the like cars, right?
Never in a million years.
Is he
Never
doing
in
the
a
whole
fucking million
prostitute
years.
thing?
Huh?
Is
No,
that what you're doing?
no. She had a TikTok the other day about how she doesn't, with the things she doesn't like what guys do on a date, and it's like things that normal guys should do, like open the door, make sure you don't start with my ex this, my ex that, walk between
huge
you and the
red
car
flags.
and stuff like that. So I, as soon as I heard that, my dumb brain went to the first question I'm going to ask her is about working between a car and, the road. Oh, and she's gone. What happened? She just X'd out of it. She was just like,
no, it's still there. She might have gotten a call.
Oh.
Oh, she left. You scare all our guests off.
It says device not connected. I don't know what happened.
You're incorrigible. Look, he's got a tail. This is Yamato, but I call him my little tomato. Got ears.
Yeah, she might have had a phone call. Or her phone crapped out. She'll be back. But no, she made a TikTok about it, and that was because in my head I won't do it. Like I will open the door and make sure everything's fine. But I will fuck around and just be like, all right, you're gonna walk that way. You're gonna walk. I will literally I'll go from there to the other side just to fuck around. And
Mitch runs from me because I always have Nymeria at my side.
I was fucking around. What? You just.
I got a phone call and then it just went to shit. So that's my bad.
Kellie's just like, you see what you did? You see? I was like, she knows I was joking.
What's that Kim Kardashian meme where she's like, I don't know, I don't want to talk about that. Let's talk about something else. That's that. Same vibe.
But yeah, so we were talking about you, and
good.
Well, what happened? I got it was when we weren't live. I got tagged in your video, and he's like, "Oh, I know her," because he heard your voice. It was about your roommate. The video. Yeah, I commented on it. I don't know if you saw it. All those charges are trafficking. And my guess that there's no news article because she turned state's witness.
That, or just because it has to do with, I heard somebody messaged me and said that her court date got set back to September sometime.
Well, so and that's the thing is like, if someone turns state witness, they keep their charges as quiet as possible. So the people they turned on don't know that they got arrested.
Listen, that whole situation is so not cuss. Is that allowed?
Fuck yeah.
Okay.
We should think differently of you if you didn't.
Yeah, it's basic. Listen, it's basically the Business Party Podcast with me and Kellie. So we don't care.
Ours is better.
Well, yeah. I mean, we get to talk about other stuff besides political stuff. We go into me crying as a little bitch, but it gets
and
better.
The videos of your favorite male ballerina.
Listen, I love Derek Hogue. I'm sorry. I can't. Well, when he dances to Kiss a Girl with his wife, it gets to me in a way that I wish I could do with my wife. I would like to do that. What? Don't look at me like that. I'm a helpless romantic when I can be sometimes.
Hey, I think that's beautiful. I'm in full support. I don't really know the scene, but the way that it's being described.
Well, Derek and his wife danced to Kiss a Girl in front of the Disney Magic Kingdom in a little bit of water, and it's beautiful.
That sounds beautiful. I'm in full support.
Don't.
Just watch Davey's face. It's great.
So which part are you playing?
Hers.
Got it.
But it's so romantic.
I could see you. I could see you doing this.
her
Listen, I would.
sitting there across the way.
My leg would have cracked 6 times there.
She don't got a lot to say, but
And that's where he'd drop his wife.
her.
Yeah.
And that's where my back would
And you
break.
don't
What does your
know
wife look like? Is she
why,
super
but
hot?
you're dying
Mine?
to try. You
Yeah.
wanna kiss
Of
the
course she
girl.
is. Of course my wife is super hot.
How the fuck did you land a hot woman?
Yeah.
Listen. I have a great heart, okay? As much as I portray myself as a giant douchebag, I try to have a good heart. Do I have my faults? Absolutely.
A lot.
But yeah, I do. But but like, if you want, like, in all honesty, I would, if you are my wife, I will go to the ends of the world to make sure you are happy.
I
And
didn't know
that's
we were
the
married.
way, huh?
What?
Shut up. And that's the way I am. Like, I would go to the end of the world. I would do anything. for
Why
my
haven't
wife.
you yet? Can
Why-
you not
what?
get past Antarctica?
No.
Like, I can show you where the gate is on the ice wall of Antarctica to get to the other side.
I bet you can. I bet you've been through that gate a couple times.
No,
as a
I've been
child.
stuck on Flat Earth TikTok for like a week, and it's amazing. It's
we
like the
talk to our
best place
guests?
everywhere.
Can we talk to our guests instead of having a conversation between the both of us?
No, it's fine. I'm living the dream.
You know, who is it? J.J.R. Tolkien? I always get the things wrong. That wrote The Lord of the Rings.
Yeah.
His map is identical to a map from like early on, like I think the 1500s. And that's their proof that he wrote The Lord of the Rings to expose that the earth is flat. It's great. You got to go on Flat Earth TikTok because they're so serious.
Do you watch Lord of the Rings?
I've watched for one
I
and a
don't care
half.
about you. I care about our guests. Do you-
No.
No.
No,
Oh,
an ex-boyfriend like forced me to watch it, you know, a little bit. I kept falling asleep. And I really tried. I tried for him.
I listen. That's what we do. Like, my wife watches.
Down. You love your co-host. Calm down.
You see this torture I have to go through?
I do. I like it.
Girls love. Listen, all women, it doesn't matter, love to watch me get tortured for some reason. They all love watching me get tortured. Even like in my normal life, everybody always
Oh, Mama
sides with my
J's
wife.
face was great when I was in there the other day. In the
Oh,
comments.
She wants to come on. She's like, I'm so excited. But also I told her that you do tarot readings, and she got excited because she likes that too.
You're into that shit?
Yeah, I don't know exactly how to use my abilities. I've done it before. The way I was taught wasn't with tarot cards, though. It was the old Turkish coffee technique, kind of like the tea leaves. But I like getting readings because they're always so fucking accurate. It's great.
It is. It is really great. It's great to be on this side of it too.
Yeah, and I've been having some really weird fucking shit happening to me.
Like your dreams?
My dreams and like random pictures of places I was trafficked just popping up on my newsfeed on Facebook.
Yeah, like do you have the mall? Like the other day, this mall that was being torn down, she found on her newsfeed.
So I've been having a problem with this mall, and I know I was trafficked there. I was taken into the back behind the stores. They have offices, and I've been working on it with my therapist because it's the one place from my past that like haunts me the most. And he thinks a lot more things happened. I witnessed a suicide there. I witnessed a bunch of other things. So I just was like, I'm going to just Google the dark history of this mall. I don't say the name publicly for safety reasons. And I was hoping I'd come up on like a paranormal website or like forum or something. And I found out that they're tearing the wall down. and the outside wall. And it's like right here is the door, but this was the office they would traffic me in. So that,
Wow.
and then the other day, this came up on my news feed, which no one has seen this. This is from the Disney store. It's called Plush Mountain. And you can see they've got like a movie playing. This is where they would drop me off and someone from the ring would pick me up to take me to the trafficker. So it's just like, it's weird that all this stuff keeps popping up.
Oh, God.
Like they
I
would put
can't
you
even-
in those toys.
No, they would distract me with the toys and tell me to pick out 3 or 4 or whatever. And then I would watch the movie and they would leave. And then someone would come back and grab me and take me to that office. And then someone would take me from the office to a different store and my parents would come and pick me up. And then we'd leave. That's how I was trafficked out in public.
And then she just lights a cigarette and everybody just stares at her. Yeah, so that's how it was done.
God damn, though. Like,
And that's literally not unique. It's how I've talked to a
Yeah.
lot of people. That's how they do it. And like amusement parks, they'll have the victim go in line for a ride and then the I call it a babysitter. Some people call it a handler. Everyone has different terms. They'll meet them in the line, go on the ride with them, take them to the sale, and then take them back to their parents that are their traffickers.
it's so common. We have so many people in the organization that I have talked to, learned their stories. It is their parents or the people who adopted them.
Mhm.
That's also pretty prevalent. And I mean, the whole like DCS, adoption circuit, it's like
Yeah.
insane. It's actually crazy.
It is.
Um,
It's more common to be within the family unit than it is a stranger.
No, for real. And that's truth. I mean, it's so prevalent. I don't think people understand how prevalent. And like you were saying, it's in public. Like we're
Mhm.
thinking everybody has this like stereotypical mindset of what's going on. You're kidnapped from your front yard and those things happen.
Oh my
Yes.
God. When I share my story on TikTok, I can't even tell you how many people comment. I'm so confused. How did your biological parents kidnap you? They didn't?
No, that's not how this works. They don't know. And that's the thing. The general public doesn't know. They've believed
Mhm.
Hollywood this whole time. And here we are
Yep.
having to backtrack and like erase all the misinformation. But thank you for sharing your story. I know that you look like you're doing fine at it.
lot
But I know
better
it's
now.
not easy.
Yeah, I just actually opened up my own nonprofit too. So I've come a long way in 13 years. I have a whole podcast too. It's not a live one where I deal with this shithead, but I talk by myself and share my story.
He's been awfully quiet lately.
He's always quiet. He can't stand up to me.
I don't want to
Shut up.
interrupt. That's not.
Shut up. I have a
Listen,
very
I
well
can't-
trained.
When she tells these stories, all I can think about is my daughter and the hell that I would go through to find somebody. And the
Oh
fact that
my
somebody
God.
could do that to their own child, it leaves me speechless. Like I cannot.
Mhm.
Well,
The wildest thing, one of the most common comments I get is like, I can't believe your mother did that to you.
Yeah.
I'm like, but what about my dad? Like, you're like, okay. It's fine.
I get
See,
it.
men are just dumb. They listen to the woman, whatever the mom says. Because I watched the Jared documentary a couple weeks ago.
I can't bring myself to watch that.
And the worst person in that documentary, in my mind,
The what?
the worst person in
Documentary?
that documentary. Listen, shut up.
I'm the one without any teeth. How come
Yeah,
you
I
can't
know,
talk?
deservedly. Anyway, the worst person in that documentary.
I had flesh-eating bacteria. That's why I lost my teeth. So thank you for that.
Some of them.
I love you too.
Some of them were a knuckle sandwich that were deserved. But anyway,
Actually,
Hey,
that's how
and-
it started. My dad punched me in the face and cracked one of my molars, and that's how the bacteria was able to enter. So thank you
Okay.
for saying I deserved it. You're
What is this?
awesome.
What's this? What is this documentary that you guys are talking about? I don't even know what that's about.
Jared from Subway.
Jared, you remember Jared from Subway? So his documentary, the worst person in my mind in that documentary was Jared's business partner's wife who
Not
had
the
two.
guy that molested people. He wasn't
Can
the
you
worst.
can you let me speak? Okay.
You wouldn't
anyway.
let me talk.
I was quiet. Everybody was complaining that I was too quiet. 2 seconds ago, I'd talk, and everybody's like, "Now you won't shut up." So anyway, the worst person I think in that documentary was the business partner's wife, who allowed her 2 daughters to be trafficked, kind of, or sexually assaulted, while the mother sat there and watched it happen. And like, she got like 33 years. And I'm like, you deserve more than that. Those are your 2 children. You birthed those children, and you allowed somebody to come into your family and do that. Like, you're a piece of shit. Like, you're the biggest piece of shit. Yes, Jared and his partner were fucking gross for what they did to the kids. But this is a mother allowing her own children while she was watching this stuff happen. So yeah, it's stuff like that, like really, but like, I don't like the word RAPE. I don't really like to say it ever, because it invokes a visceral reaction in me that I even thinking about it, it's making me sick. Like, I want to take out every single person that has ever done that to somebody, and it's disgusting. It's really, and we were talking about that. People are just, it bothers me how gross people can be to other people.
Amount of female predators are like, I don't know if they're increasing, but it's astounding to me how common that is. Like,
yeah, they're not
hand in hand.
I don't think they're increasing. I just think people are talking about it more. Because when I talk about the clients that I had a lot of women, and honestly, they were way worse than the men. One of them would
see a woman's bathroom. It's gross.
What the fuck does that have to do with anything? Well, one woman did take me in her bathroom and drown me. So, whatever. But one woman, she would purchase me for her husband, and while he did it, I had to keep eye contact with her, like, the entire time.
Oh my God, I can't.
Yeah, women are terrible, evil beings. Because it's like, I can't have a female gynecologist or gynecologist. I need to have a man. And everyone's like, how can you do that with everything you went through?
Big hands.
Mm-hmm. That's exactly it. Just wait till you come up here.
Listen.
My kid is going to make you cry.
Kevin's gone again.
You're terrible.
You hear all my bones cracking as I was trying to perform that. That was embarrassing. That was the worst part of this whole thing. Wow. Okay. Yeah. Well, now that I'm traumatized,
I'm sorry.
How about those Jets?
Oh, come on. Really? Aaron Rodgers? You think the Jets are going to be good because they got Aaron Rodgers? They ain't got nothing anyway.
I don't fucking watch the NFL. Are you kidding me? Do you know my story at all?
I don't watch NFL
kind of, some of it.
They're
like,
all rapists.
I wanted to ask, that was another question I had for you, because you divulged it on a TikTok after we had an interview with you for the first time, and you divulged all this stuff that you used to date a guy in the NFL. And I was so like, this son of a gun had all this in her repertoire, and she was quiet for most of the repertoire.
Repertoire.
In her repertoire. and
isn't there like an R in there at the end?
I don't know, but can I have her tell her story, because I would like to hear.
Well, it sounds like you were trying to tell it for her.
I mean, what questions do you have for me?
What I need to know, like, you dated somebody who was almost in the NFL. He wants to
know how big his dick was so he can get pictures of it.
Disgusting. Oh
yeah,
my God.
Thanks.
I mean, we dated in college. So like, we started dating when he was a redshirt freshman, braces, cystic acne. He was not cute. I loved him. I adored this man. Okay. And then we broke up, I dated another guy. We dated for 5 years, or almost 5 years, and then things didn't work out between us. I went back to his name's Cole. I went back to him, and then went through the whole like senior bowl process, finding an agent process, like going through, all the things that, draft picks or whatever. And then 4 weeks before he was drafted, I mean, he was phenomenal. Like literally, he's the only, and I always say this, he's the only man that I've ever loved in my entire life. And he was phenomenal. Like he was so good, so attentive. We vibed so well. We had the best laughs. I just love that man to death. And then all of a sudden it was like, he's just like a different human being. And we had some words, about family members and things like that. That was always a struggle. Like I never really felt like I was accepted by his family. And he really wanted someone that was accepted by his family, and it just didn't work. And then 4 weeks before
what team does he play for, or did he play for?
He plays for the Patriots.
Yeah.
It's not Cole
right.
Beasley, is it?
Cole Strange.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, and 4 weeks before he gets drafted, he's like, "Yeah, I don't want to do this," and I was like, "All right."
That's because he wanted to be able to party.
Yeah.
Yeah, and oddly enough, like he's dating a girl from, like the college that we went to, who is like really young.
My ex is dating my old best friend.
Interesting.
Well, actually married to her.
So guys are dumb. Guys are dumb.
Mitch is smart.
Well, Mitch is smart, but you treat him like he's dumb.
No, I don't.
I mean, I've got nothing but light and love for him. And I told you, like, he's the only person I've ever loved. I loved him. But like at the end of the day, we're all on our own soul journey. There's no hard feelings. But if someone sent me a video of him choking, I would probably have an orgasm. Yeah.
That's the quote.
I'm so making that a meme.
But I mean, listen, and I'm kind of on this. I'm kind of on a.
Davey's just trying to figure out where he could get a picture of him choking.
Fuck. Davey's choking right now. Get it together.
Whoa.
Dude, I thought I killed you last night because you like responded and then never wrote back after the TikTok video I sent you.
She texts me at like 2 a.m, the most random stuff, and expects me to have a full blown out conversation with her at 2 at night, because that's when she works and she sleeps during the day like a goblin. And so I'm not gonna have a conversation with you at 2 a.m.
But you said you choked, and then I never heard from you. I thought I killed you.
Well, I mean, the world would be a better place for some people if it did happen.
We can't even show it on here. We'll get taken down. That thing was like, okay, so I've been seeing like pencil sharpeners and different objects throughout the years. So I just thought it was going to be that. So when I swiped it and saw the guillotine, I'm like, oh God.
I'll send it to you, Gabby. I don't want to put it on here or say it on here.
We'll get taken down. It's terrible, and I am definitely going to a very bad place for laughing as hard as I did.
It's hilarious, but it's terrible. It's one of those
things.
And I
sent it to Mitch, and he's just like, "Is that it?"
I saw a TikTok where it said, "Guess who the cheerleader was?" And it's a girl doing back bends, and then her boyfriend in a wheelchair. It's along those lines.
It is way worse than that.
It is, but it's along those lines. That kind of dark humor is my favorite, and it makes me laugh because I'm just like, who is the cheerleader? And I'm like, and I'm in my head, I'm going, where's this going? Where's this going? And I'm thinking of 1,000 different things. And then it shows a wheelchair, and I'm like, yep. That's one of the places it should have gone. But yeah, so I'm finding myself back into God. You know, I
Shocking.
my recovery date is August 29th, 2021. And I went into I dipped in my toe back into the church for a little while, and I found myself coming out of it. And now there are things going on personally that I'm trying to get myself to a better place. So I'm, kind of going back to God. It's helping me in making strides and growing. Because listen, I'm a 40-year-old man, and there's still things I realize I have no idea about. There's a lot of, especially about women. Like you think you know, and then it'll make a hard left, and you're like, but wait a minute, but I did this and I did that. Well, I didn't want you to do that. Well, but that's what you said you wanted me to do. But no, that's not what I wanted you to want to do that. And I want to do it. No, I had to tell you. Okay.
Well, and then like he's dealing with trauma and trauma responses, has a co-host that is an advocate with a nonprofit and a trauma survivor, and it took how long to bring it up and ask my advice?
I did never say I was a smart man. I did say I was dumb. Okay? And it takes me, I've been hit in the head since I was 5. I played football since I was 5 years old.
You weren't hit in the head. You were thrown at a ceiling fan and then thrown into a wall by the ceiling
Listen, my
fan.
head is indented, so I'm pretty sure they used that little fork thing to get me out when I was a baby, because my head is indented right here.
Forceps.
Yeah, whatever that thing is. I don't know. I couldn't even listen. My daughter's mother had a sheet, and I didn't pass it. I didn't cut her godmother cut the umbilical cord and was watching the whole time. We found out later why she was watching, but that's a different story. Anyway, she cut the umbilical. Yeah,
you didn't tell me that.
My daughter's
like you've told
godmother?
me the story, but you didn't.
My daughter's
tell me.
godmother. Yeah, she's gay.
Well, you told me the story. You didn't tell me that's why.
Well, I don't know if that's why. I was joking. I don't think that, it's exactly why she wanted to watch my daughter being born, because she wanted to see my girlfriend's vagina.
It's beautiful. I don't know. I've never seen it.
It's not.
It is beautiful.
They're like, do you want a mirror? No, I do not want a mirror. Thank you. Just let me lay here and push this little fat ass out.
But like my daughter has issues.
It was 22 and a half hours of labor. She was a pain in the ass to get out. The other two were C-sections.
So when my daughter was born, I used to bother her mom with the word 7. Why? Don't know.
That's what my dad wanted me to name my oldest daughter, 7.
7? Was that because
I guess it's a character from like one of the Star Trek shows?
Yeah. I have no idea. But anyway, I used to bother her mom. So she was born on May 7th. And I was going 1207, 1207. And the fucking doctor decided to not pull my daughter out until 1208 because she didn't want, because my Madison's mother was like, don't do it at 1207, because she was coming out. She was on her way out, and the doctor was just like, oh, no, don't push it at 1208. Push. But yeah. But like I said, it's been my entire life. Every woman has just been like, yeah, let's try to make him as miserable as possible. Let's not let him win it all.
Do you ever think that you're the common denominator?
Yes, all the time. You don't think I know this? I know I'm the problem. Why do you think I'm trying to fix myself? I'm trying to fix myself so that way I'm a better person. And not
he is. Total... I will give you credit for that. I'll be nice for 5 seconds. You are. And
I'm trying. Like I said, it's
do not cry again. I will kill you.
I'm not crying.
He cried the last episode. I hate when men cry.
Well,
because you brought it out of me. What was I supposed to? I was talking about my wife's trauma that I, feel. Once again, I want to take it all away, and I can't, and it bothers me. And it
also bothers him if he doesn't know how many times he goes to the bathroom in a day.
How many times? I didn't say that. All I said was my head.
You worry about it, and you ask her.
I didn't say no. I say my head goes, did you go to the bathroom today? To does she have dysentery? That's where my head goes. Okay. That's where my head
Have
goes.
you
Because
thought about antipsychotic medication?
what is wrong with worrying about a person from head to toe? When you love
You
a
are not
person,
supposed to be
I think it's
concerned about,
really cute.
but you're
You
not
are.
supposed to obsessively worry about your wife's bowel movements.
I'm not saying it was obsessive. All I said it was a fleeting thought. Did she go to the bathroom today? Does she have dysentery? It was a fleeting thought, but that's where my head goes, you know? So that's what I was saying. And I care about my wife with all of my heart and all this stuff that she's been through in her life that she's told me about. I just want to go into the Back to the Future and just beat the hell out of those people, you know? And I can't. And it bothers me. And sometimes it gets me so frustrated that I hurt myself. And I'm not like, I'm talking about like banging the wall with my head or something. Like, I'm not like, you know, cutting myself like like a emo 16-year-old. You know, I get frustrated where I just, I don't know what to do. And you know, went there, you know, telling me it is, you know, partially my trauma to deal with too. And it got me, you know, and then 2 seconds later, we were talking about my wife's and Mitch's bowel movements.
His are a problem.
See?
They are. No, like we'll go out in public and like I can't really go out in public like number 2, but he can and it drives me nuts. I have OCD, so like when I can't do something because
Well,
of
the
my
last time you were in a
anxiety,
bathroom, you got taken away.
never. Never. It was the closet. But no, like it bothers
Gabby's
me.
gonna
Like,
block me from her phone. She's like, no, not doing the same.
but like my OCD is so bad that like something I obsessively am anxious about, if someone else does it, it makes me anxious. And he takes a long time and it feels like an hour, but it's been 2 minutes. And I'm just like standing there and feel like everyone's staring at me, thinking, oh my God, that poor girl's husband has diarrhea. You know, like it's weird.
It
So-
has been an hour. I have never dated a man that doesn't take like 6 hour long.
Oh, I've
poops.
timed him. Oh, I also take videos of him to prove to him that he's snoring because he doesn't believe me when I say it, even though he has sleep apnea. I kid you not, every time, as soon as I hit record, he stops. I'm like, fucker.
I just don't understand it. You know, I'm a super pooper. I sit down, it takes me about 60 seconds and I'm done, you know.
That's
But
how my
men,
kid is.
if they like file their taxes, they're like solving world hunger, and then, you know, maybe they'll start a new business
I
on the
do our
toilet and then
taxes.
they're done. I don't get that shit. I don't understand it.
But it's like he won't let me in the bathroom. He won't let me, like, if I text him, he won't write me back. Like, he has to have,
We
it's a
Don't
problem.
want to be bothered. That is
I
our
had 3
alone
cats, a
time.
dog, and a kid in the fucking
That
bathroom
is
with me when
our
I take a
alone
shit.
time. That's the only like alone time we get for the most part is when we're in the bathroom. The other time it's like, can you do this? What are we gonna do? What are we doing this? Are we doing that? Are we gonna do this? Are we gonna do that? I had the kids for 20 minutes. Can you take the kids now? After so we go to the bathroom and like she said, we try to solve hunger.
And when
then we
do
come back
you
out.
give your wife that time?
Apparently, right now.
She took it.
Yeah. Well, you know what am I gonna say?
She's fine. She'll be fine.
Yeah, I know.
All right,
So
let's get off of this talk.
So are you
You're depressing me.
dating or are you seeing
No, we're
anybody?
going to talk about tarot cards and shit.
No,
talk about
Stop
cards.
hitting on our guest.
She's a friend of mine. I'm not hitting on her. I'm trying to conduct I'm trying to have a conversation.
Why do we need to know her status if she's dating someone? You can
We've
ask
just
her
been
body
talking about
count, too.
your significant other and my significant other, and now I want to include her to see if she has a significant other, and I get, why are you hitting on her?
She
No,
said
I'm about
no.
to leave the country. I'm about to move to a different country in January.
I
Are
wanna
you really?
go.
Yes.
If I was on a damn no-fly list, I'd go.
It's because of Mitch's poop.
It's probably because of my Google search history.
Are you moving like permanently, or are you just gonna be there for a while, or?
I'll be there for 3 years for vet school. So
Oh, that's right. Yeah. You're going to be a professional vet.
I'm
I
going
was
to be
almost-
Dr. Hopkins. Yeah.
I was gonna say vegetarian because I'm dumb.
You're gonna be vegetarian.
A
Wow.
veterinarian. Can you say
Yes.
where you're going, or are you?
Yeah, Granada.
Where's that?
It's in the Caribbean.
Oh, okay.
That's where I want to go, down to the Caribbean.
Yeah, so
Honestly, if I could go, like, I really want to go to like Finland, but I'd probably end up in Aruba. I love Aruba.
a lot of my friends go to Aruba and they love it. I've never been,
It's
but you know,
beautiful.
yeah.
Have you been
and
there? Have you been there yet? Like to check it out and stuff like that? You're just gonna
on a wing.
go? Yeah,
Yeah.
that's what I did. That's what I
Okay.
did here. You want to go
Yeah.
to Kansas? Sure.
That's what I did here.
You only live once. You only live once, and that's what I'm trying to tell my daughter.
I'm on my third
That's
life.
what. Listen, can I give you my daughter's phone number and you fucking text her and go, "Hey, you only live once," because she's 20 years old and she still won't cut the umbilical cord to her own fucking mother. And I'm like, dude, you're 20 years old. You know, understand when I was 20, you were born, and I had to, and I stuck around because I made sure I cut the line of fathers who didn't stay. So I stayed. You have nothing. You have the boy. Nothing. You don't. You can find another one. Okay, go out, enjoy yourself.
You know what it's called when you try to interfere with the relationship between your child and their other parent? It's called parental alienation, and it's a form of child abuse.
Yes, and my daughter's mother
And
child abused
you
her.
just admitted to doing it.
What? Telling her to cut the cord from her mother at 20 years old.
Mm-hmm. Let her be. Me and my daughters are.
She
Listen-
doesn't get along with her mother, but she can't get away from. They don't get along. They're the same person,
What?
and they can't get along. But yet
I
she
play
won't
with my
leave.
daughters all the time, but they're my besties.
Well,
Anyway,
maybe she just needs the extra push, you know?
Yeah,
Just get off the tit. It's all
Just-
right.
yeah,
Nothing's
just-
wrong with that.
the
I
thing
am
is, she's.
still breastfeeding my oldest, by the way.
I wouldn't be surprised.
She lives in a different fucking state.
I still wouldn't be surprised.
I am so. You better behave when she comes on.
I will. I told you. I promised. Right? I promised I would behave. But
Okay,
yeah,
so how did you get into tarot card reading? Like, did you just wake up one day and realize you had abilities like I did?
Yeah, kind of. I mean, I've always been kind of a freak. And then I stopped being a freak, but well, partly because, you know, Cole was getting a lot of attention and I wanted to be small because anything that I did or said reflected him. So I just wanted to, you know. And so I played with it a little bit. Well, I come from a Christian background, so, you know, everybody was like, oh my God, you're going to hell. And I was like, oh, that's a bummer,
I hear
you know?
that all the time.
So, right. And so once him and I broke up, and I was like, well, fuck, you know, who am I? And so I just went for it, you know, and started reading for my friends as jokes. And then all the things that I was saying were coming true. And then I was like, well, shit. All right, we're going to do this. And so I did on TikTok live, and now we do it. I'm not like it's not my business. You know, I like doing it for free if I can. So yeah.
See, I don't trust the ones that charge a lot or charge too little, because there's like a little town where I used to live and they have a lot of tarot readers. And I went to one guy twice, like 3 years apart, and he gave me the same exact reading, like to the T. I'm like, you said that like 3 years ago. Ain't gonna happen
Yeah.
all over again.
Did it happen all over again?
It did not. But I did have a
Makes sense.
woman. I was about
we know.
I was about 16, and she came up to me at a mall, a different one than the pictures. And she was like, "Can I give you a reading? Because your aura is just beautiful." And
It's
she
purple.
told me I was going to meet a guy, and I would think that I was in love with him, but it would end quickly, but it would somehow connect me to a very toxic man, which would start a cycle of very toxic men in my life. And the cycle would end with the one in the army. I met my husband while he was deployed in Afghanistan.
How did you meet him while he was deployed in Afghanistan?
So I had to move to Camp Lejeune to help out my friend's wife while he was deployed. They had a newborn. Um, the baby had shaken baby syndrome, so I ended up with custody of her. And I was getting like so stressed. So I went over to one of my friends' houses and I was like, I am getting tired of Marines because Marines are douchebags and very arrogant pricks. I was like, but your brother's in the army, right? And she was like, yeah. I'm like, let me see some of his single friends. So she pulled up my husband's Facebook page and we ended up being pen pals for the last 5 months of his deployment and got married 8 months after he got home, like to the date. And we celebrate 11 years in October.
Oh my God, that's so cool. That's really cool.
We had over 25,000 Facebook messages back and forth, over just about 1,000 emails back and forth. Yeah, it was great. He's a good guy.
Wow.
Davey wants him, but he's really jealous that I got him.
We could do that dance.
That was beautiful.
Listen, yeah, you never know.
It was good. It was good for me because being a survivor of trauma, like being able to talk to someone about my trauma and different things I went through without having to see their face made it a lot easier. So we built like a very strong foundation.
Yeah.
But he's a really good guy. His pooping's a problem, but everything else is pretty solid.
His what's a problem?
His pooping.
Oh, dude, if that's the worst problem you have, I think that's a pretty good problem.
Yeah.
No, my worst problem is that he wears Crocs.
Listen, the man wore boots for years in the middle of the desert. Let the man
Okay, but
piggies breathe.
I
will
have
buy that man
proof.
flashlights for his fucking Crocs. Okay?
Do it.
So he can see at night.
Do it.
Tactical
He
flashlights.
wears them to take Nymeria out. So
oh my God, she's got the cutest dog, but I swear to God, that dog has like the worst anxiety in the world.
That's how people talk about me.
So it's fitting you're going to be a veterinarian.
I know. Like when you're learning about separation anxiety, pay attention a lot because like I just pulled out my makeup to get ready for tonight and she's panicking that I'm going to leave her. You didn't even read the message.
I didn't. I've been on the same antidepressant as my dog before for that same reason.
She stole one of my Valium and I really wasn't that sad about it.
So I wanted to also tell you that I saw that video and it
I'll be right back.
It encouraged me to get off of mine. I've been off of it for a week now, I believe. A week.
Oh my gosh.
And it's been okay. Like with all the stuff that's going on, I'm learning to take it in, but yeah, I've been on it for a couple of years now, and I saw you say you came off it, and I'm like, you know what? Let's do it. Let's.
Oh my God.
So,
oh my God, that's huge.
Yeah. So I'm learning, and that's another thing why I kind of dug back into the Bible and God, and I'm kind of like let him take it. I'm done trying to do it on my own, and it's been a wild ride, but you know what? I feel better. I really do. I feel better.
And there's nothing wrong with like having to get back on it. If you gave it a go and it's not working out, you have to get back on it. It's okay. Like I did that a couple times.
Yeah, but I mean, I feel like everybody's on something. You know what I mean? And everybody, you want to feel great, and you can't always feel great because if you feel great all the time, you don't know what it's like to not feel great. And if you have that instant where you don't feel great, you kind of end up going, what is this? Why am I feeling like this? So you kind of have to work yourself through the bad times also, and know next time how to deal with it. But if you're just constantly on antidepressants, you don't know how to deal with your depression.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
And like I said, I saw that video of yours and I was like, you know what? I'm doing it.
That's
And
crazy.
yeah.
Thank you for telling me that.
Come here.
I told you you inspire a lot of people, man. You really do.
Thank you.
You help a lot of people. I'll give you that. But you do inspire a lot of people with the things that you do. Like I said, I've been watching since before we had our first like conversation, and from where you were then to where you are now, it's just like, it's amazing. My kid took your shirt, by the way. My kid took your shirt. Like I don't know where it is.
That sounded a lot dirtier than it should have.
That's cool.
My kid took her shirt. Yeah, it's a cool fucking shirt. She's got some great shirts on the website.
Cool shirt. Yeah, everybody go check it out.
Well,
thank you for telling me that. I needed to hear that. I needed to hear that more than you realize. So thank you for saying that to me.
Of course. Like I said, I can come off as a dick and very aggressive, but truly, like deep down inside, like
it's like
I like helping people. I like watching people succeed, you know, and to watch that ride is kind of is cool. Like in my eyes, it's cool. You watch somebody like, you know, like I said, from talking to you in your car to now looking where you are now, and it's a cool thing. I have like, look at the little girl. She grew up. she's kicking somebody's ass now. Look at her. She's got somebody in a figure 4 leg lock, and she's. Let me tell you, them muscles are getting big.
That is my all-time favorite thing that has ever been said about me. And yeah, bro, she's jacked. All right. Yeah. So, thank you for that. I needed that.
Yeah, no, listen, you're gonna be a killer veterinarian. I'll tell you that right now. I don't know if I should use those words together, but yeah, no, man, I truly, I hope nothing but the best for you. I really do. I think you really deserve it, and I think you'll find somebody that, you know, if you want to, that will, you know, will treat you the way you're supposed to be treated, and
come up.
You know, you'll find that love again, and you'll just be like, Cole, who? Yeah, I liked that guy back then, but you know, but yeah, I think, and it's cool to go to, like, I mean, it's cool to go to another country, especially when you're jacked and probably can beat up half the men of that population anyway. And to do what you do,
and I stand by that. Yeah.
Me too. Me too. So do you carry? Do you know how to carry? Do you like? What do you carry?
9.
9? What kind?
Mm-hmm. It's a Taurus.
Oh, okay. Yeah, my father-in-law has that. It's a nice one. I have a I have a Glock 43X, and I bought my wife a LCP Max. It's a 380. It's a little tiny one.
Oh yeah, the 380s are fine. The accuracy isn't that great on them. The Glocks were like, they didn't fit my hand right or something. Yeah. But the Taurus was perfect for me. It works great. I love shooting that gun. Yeah.
And that's the thing. You got to find the right gun that fits your hand. Like when I first started shooting, I asked my friend, "What gun should I buy?" And my friends are like, "Hey, you have to shoot it before you can actually buy it." Because I had a H&K VP9, which I liked at first, and then it was just like, eh. You know, I bought it because it was an H&K. Everybody boasted about it, but no. But that Taurus 9mm it's a powerful little gun.
I mean, it'll do the job. It'll do the job. And you know what? I also have my grandfather's 25, which is like impossible to find ammo for it. But I love carrying. Like if you're running, you know, right in the boots.
Yeah.
No one would know.
25. I've never seen a 25. I gotta look that thing up.
Look it up. Yeah.
I heard that before. Tiny. I gotta say it. I had to say it.
I'm so sorry to your wife. I'm so sorry.
Listen, people said that too. Especially my co-host.
I feel really bad for her.
I do too. You have no idea. But yeah.
Guys, I smell like meat that's left in a mechanic shop all day. I'm gonna get off here and take a shower.
Okay. Well,
Especially
leave.
after that one. I gotta go. I gotta go.
I really appreciate you coming on. Like I said, she wants a reading, so she wants a
Yeah.
reading.
Someday.
But
Any day.
like I said, I appreciate you coming on, and I appreciate what you do.
Oh, my people.
Getting those pieces of shit, you know, and it's gonna suck.
And they're everywhere.
It's gonna suck that you're gonna be gone for 3 years doing, you know, but you're gonna do something you love and enjoy, which is amazing, man. It really is. So
I'm really
let
excited,
everybody
yeah.
know once again where they can find you, where what the website is and everything like that, so that way, you know, everybody can know.
I'm not over it. I'm still not over it. Absolutely. My handles on Instagram and TikTok are the original Reaper 00, and then you can search up the Wolf Project at thewolfprojectinc.com. And my email is gabrielle@thewolfprojectinc.com.
And you do workshops, correct?
We do. We teach people how to do this safely, effectively, all the things, all the laws around it, and kind of guide you through the process. Actually passing away, so
Yeah, nice.
guide you through the process. So yeah,
And
definitely. If
do you
that's something that you're interested in, come check us out. Sign up. Our next class is August 26th.
And where is that gonna be?
It's virtual. You can sign up at the website.
Okay.
Click
All
Become
right.
a Reaper, and that's where you'll find it. Yeah.
Well, thank you for coming on.
Thank you.
Go wash your smelly fucking meat self.
Sorry you had to
And,
deal with this jackass.
And I will talk to you later.
I'll talk to you guys later. It was nice to
Appreciate
meet you,
you.
and thanks for having me on. Appreciate it.
Anytime.
Nice meeting you.
Anytime.
Bye.
Later.
You are such a jackass.
Why am I a jackass?
I don't know. You tell me.
I am me. I'm sorry. I am me. I can't help not being me. It doesn't matter who you are. I'm a silly fucker, and that's it. But yeah, she's really
Good
cool.
people.
Like, yeah, she really is. Like I said, when we first started talking to her, she was kind of like shy and kind of a little bit reserved, and she was in her car, and now she's like blown up, and it's so cool. It's so cool to see, you know. But yeah, I wanted you guys to.
I wanted her to
talk
give us
and-
readings live, but you kept on.
You both were. I don't think she wanted to do one live.
I know.
I don't think she wanted. She wasn't ready. She has
So
be
back to
ready.
the indictment and how you're wrong on everything.
No, it's been an hour and a half. We're not going to talk about the indictment today. We're gonna.
We were in the middle of it. Just admit you're wrong.
I'm not wrong.
I just
Just admit it sets a bad precedent that nobody else is going to get this treatment. If
you
anybody
don't
else
know
is,
that.
I absolutely know. They're corrupt. How do you believe the government?
Okay,
the people,
so let
the
me
people
ask
who
you this,
allowed
though.
you to have the life you lived because they didn't
Nobody
really give a
allowed
shit.
me to have a life I lived.
You don't think the government knew? You don't think there was a couple government people involved in that?
You're blaming the government for what my parents did to me?
You don't think there was? I'm talking about there's people in the government who were a part of that stuff
Okay.
and have not faced any consequences because
Okay.
they're in the government
No,
and will never face consequences
No.
because they're in the government.
not just that. See, that's the thing. It's a very complex thing. And this is why I hate the Sound of Freedom. I hate that it came out. I hate everything everyone's saying about it. I hate Jim Caviezel. I hate Tim Ballard because they are putting that mindset in you. Like, let me ask you this. Do you think there's a client list name for Epstein? Like a list of names? Do you believe that exists?
I don't think there's a list of names. I just think there's a bunch of people who like a black book. I think there's his cell phone has a bunch of names in it.
And you know who else's names was in that black book? His.
Who?
His name was in there. So was
Who?
Ghislaine Maxwell's. It wasn't
Who?
his black book.
Whose name?
Epstein.
Okay.
I had the unredacted. It has his contact info. It wasn't his. There are also victims' names in there. But let me ask you. So
7.
Do you think you have a right to know the name of the people that raped me?
No.
So why do you think the Epstein list or the people in the government should be exposed? Don't you think it should be up to the victim?
Yeah, and I think a lot of their victims coming forward, and they're not, and they're not allowing, not the victims, but they're saying that the victims aren't allowed to talk about it, which is wrong.
Oh, well, it depends.
I want to play that video so bad. I want to play that video.
Which one? No, not the dog one. No, she won't be able to hear it anyways. But well, and that's the thing is like, there's a foundation, they claim they're a nonprofit. I haven't been able to confirm or deny if they actually have nonprofit status that is dedicated to getting the list of my rapists. Why do they deserve to have it? Why does anyone deserve to have it? And a lot of the people that were involved, that were clients of mine, have been arrested. The news just doesn't talk about it. I could have sued Epstein's estate. I could have sued JP Morgan, but I don't want to because it comes with a gag order. And I won't be able to talk about it because of a gag order for important reasons. Stop texting. We're talking.
I'm listening. Gag orders. I get it.
But that's the thing. It's not like...
But once again, those people... So then those people... Okay, and I get that you don't want that personally. Okay?
A lot of victims and survivors don't die.
Okay,
there.
But the ones that do...
Okay.
The ones that do should be able to tell people who they are. Should be able to...
Who's telling them they're not allowed to?
You haven't heard anybody's name.
Yeah. That doesn't mean they're being told they're not allowed. Listen,
so you're saying that they don't want, a lot of them don't want justice.
Look what happened to Amber Heard. She got sued for $50 million for talking about her story. And I'll tell you, I know someone that was trafficked to Johnny Depp.
Did she shit on his bed?
It doesn't matter if she shit on his bed or not. That's what I'm saying is like, yo,
she
I'm not getting into the Amber Heard thing.
She sued him.
And won.
And then he sued her.
Well, both lawsuits were determined at the same time, and they both won. But
once again,
that's what I'm saying is like, we don't want to talk about it because it's not important. When I would talk about how I would spend weekends with Epstein, I became Epstein's victim. I do not identify by the people that did the horrible things to me. I'm not Epstein's victim. I'm a survivor of trafficking. So there is so many reasons why victims don't want to talk about the names, and they're not important because you can't do anything with it. Like I can tell you there's a guy and his name's Alex De La Fuentes. And I know he was involved. I don't know all the details of how he was involved. Call your local police and say that you know this guy was involved with a child trafficking ring in the 90s. And let me know what they say. You can't do anything with it. The only person that can bring accountability to these people are the victims of these people. Why should we have to do that to satisfy your curiosity of who they were? And no,
you make a
valid
point.
And no, the government is, and the government is not the reason I was trafficked. The reason I was trafficked is because my parents trafficked me.
I was being facetious, you silly goose.
But it's that mentality that's all over social media. And that's what's being attached to the Sound of Freedom. And actually, one of the people that funded the Sound of Freedom was just charged with kidnapping and raping a child. I just read it before we went live. I can't remember his name, but it's like all the news articles that are saying that it is QAnon conspiracy adjacent are not lying. They are not saying anything that is not true. It is QAnon adjacent. And Jim Caviezel and Tim Ballard are now the spokespeople of trafficking. Tim Ballard does not work within the United States. Operation Underground Railroad never has. They have always worked in other countries. Trafficking in other countries looks different than it does here in the United States. Why are these two guys that are spreading lies, spreading rumors, and spreading false information about trafficking now the spokespeople? Why not the survivors? Because I can tell you, I've been screaming at the top of my lungs practically to get people to understand that it's within the family unit. Over just about 93% of victims know they're traffickers. But no one wants to talk about that because it's not sexy. It's not a story that tugs at the heartstrings. It's not what people want. They want to hear that it happens in a third world. What?
You said, excuse me. I said there is no excuse for you.
Oh. But that's they want to believe that it happens far away from home because it makes them feel safer. If they don't see a zip tie on their car, well, then they're okay and they're safe. If they're not being, and it's bullshit because it's putting so many lives at danger. Like, you want to know how common trafficking is? While I was being trafficked by my parents, I went to a club, and while I was at that club, traffickers approached me and tried to take me. Not snatch and grab. They offered for me to go to a modeling school. If I went with them, I would have been taken into trafficking. That's how fucking common and how close it is. A trafficking victim, I was nearly kidnapped by traffickers. And I left in September. In May of the following year is when I was kidnapped again by a trafficker. That's how common it is. But everyone wants to say nothing's happening because the government or because this. The list is not released because they're all on it. And if Trump was on it, it would have been released already. Trump was a customer. Almost all of the people in the Maxwell case were taken from Mar-a-Lago. He has been on the Lolita Express on more than one occasion. The trafficking happened at West Palm Beach House, at the New York mansion, the Boston mansion, the ranch in New Mexico, the island, the mansion in, I think it's in France. Like, it was all over, but everyone wants to focus on that. Like, you want to talk about distractions? The Sound of Freedom is a distraction. Epstein and Maxwell are a distraction. Everyone is focusing where trafficking is not happening, and we know it's not because she's in jail and he's dead. And they're not focusing where it is. I don't mean to be a bitch about it, but just because I have politicians as clients, the government didn't allow me to be trafficked. My parents did. Place the blame where it belongs.
You're not being a bitch about it. You're telling your story. There's nothing bitchy about it. It's your story, man. Huh?
So I was trying.
Yeah, but I'm not gonna sit there and criticize you for your story. That's your story, and you know a lot more than I do about it. So I'm gonna sit here and pretend like I know something about it just to get you riled up. But in the end, you live.
But that's the thing. Like, I can't even tell you how many times I got told I had Trump derangement syndrome. So remember when we were going to talk about collective consciousness and then we never ended up getting to do it? Mm-hmm. That was one of the things that I was tugging at to show collective consciousness and his supporters. They keep on saying, well, he only flew once from Florida to Newark, so he wasn't involved with Epstein. The flight that he took, that he has openly admitted to that he took, Mark Epstein, Epstein's brother, Epstein, Maxwell, a cook, Eva and Selena Dubin were on that flight. Selena Dubin, there was a picture of her when she was 2 years old that they think, because nobody knows how old Selena Dubin is because there's no record of her birth. There was a picture of her in CSAM outside of Epstein's bedroom at the Palm Beach house. There also is a picture of him with his hand up her skirt when they approximate she was 9 years old. He also tried to marry her before she turned 18.
Who, Ghislaine?
No, Selena Dubin. Now, Eva Dubin is married to Glenn Dubin. Eva and Glenn Dubin, Virginia Roberts was sent to them to practice and was trafficked to them by Epstein and Maxwell. Do you really think nothing happened on that flight? Nothing at all, when there are multiple pictures of him being overly sexual with Selena Dubin? Trump, at the very least, saw something and did nothing. And there's the other thing they keep saying is that he brought Epstein down. No, he did not. The victims did. But everyone keeps on saying that Trump did all this for sex trafficking. He didn't. He didn't do shit. And he was involved with Epstein. I mean, literally was involved with Epstein. There's multiple lawsuits. There's so much evidence, but no one wants to believe it. And they keep focusing on Epstein. Why? He's dead.
But why? But why just him? You know what I mean? If there's other people, this is what I mean. Like, why? And I trust me.
It's not just Trump. Are you talking about just Trump or just Epstein?
No, but why are they just focused?
No, what? I gave you an either or.
I'm Trump. Can you let me finish?
It's not just about Trump, though. I could go on and on about Bill Clinton too. Do it, I dare you. I will Venmo you $20 right now if you do it.
No, I'm not gonna blind myself for $20. You out of your mind? 2,000, 20,000, maybe. But no, I'm talking about. So what I'm saying is, why are they just so focused on Trump on this stuff? You know what I mean? On the Lolita Express, on all the stuff. They're just. Can I finish? Why are they so focused on Trump, but not all the other people, all the other politicians? Is what I'm talking about. Because of his
supporters.
What do you mean?
Because of his supporters. Because they constantly support him and defend him and sit here and will not listen to his involvement. So when we talk about it, we're correcting them from saying Trump wasn't involved when he was. Yes, Clinton rode the Lolita Express multiple times. And the Lolita Express isn't the only plane that went to and from the island. And the trafficking didn't only happen on the island. It happened everywhere. I have met victims or survivors that were at the ranch in New Mexico with me. I mean, it's insane. And it's this huge, vast network. But it's not the politicians that are doing the trafficking. They're buyers. It's the parents.
Yeah, no, I get that. I do. But the problem is they're just focusing on the one person.
No, they're not. The
media. The media is just focusing.
What
Who
about
else?
Prince Andrew?
Who else?
There's sub-names that are going to be being released soon.
Okay.
But here's the thing. Do you know that Epstein is not a sex trafficker?
What is he, the gaslighter?
He's a buyer. Everyone always testified, and even in my experience, Maxwell brought them to him and he paid them. He's a buyer. There's a difference between a buyer and a trafficker. But that's the thing.
They've said that she was the one who brought them to him.
Mm-hmm. She was a trafficker. He was just a client. I mean, I'm sure it evolved eventually, but to start. But Jane, in Maxwell's case, nobody paid attention to her boyfriend's testimony. And he testified that he asked Jane how she paid for all of the bills and everything that like all the fancy stuff that she had, and she said it came at a cost. So she lived with her mother because she was a minor. Her mother trafficked her, but nobody connected those dots. And that's how it was in a lot of the cases. Like Larry, whatever, Kasner, was that it?
David?
No, the one, the coach from Michigan with the gymnasts.
Oh,
That was
Larry
he was
Nasser.
Nasser, yeah. Are you really going to tell me that hundreds of kids were sexually assaulted with their parents in the room and nobody knew? It's
No.
bullshit. They knew.
No.
The parents knew, but they're never going to take
Yeah.
the fall. They're never going to
No.
talk about it because the way that it stands right now, if I was still being trafficked at the age that I am now, I would be going to sales by myself. If we got arrested, the guy or or woman, whoever the buyer was, they would be allowed to turn state's witness on my parents, and they would get off scot-free because they want to get the bigger fish. And that's why you never hear about the parents that are heavily involved with all of this, because they're the ones that are turning on the other people. Like the list of names that were classified, guaranteed Jane's mother was one of them. But people don't think about it.
No.
And they don't look at it that way.
No.
And I'll tell you right now, anyone that ever says my parents' names publicly will feel my wrath, because that will put me in so much danger you don't even know. I haven't even said their names. I've only been sharing for just about 3 years now. And my son has already been almost kidnapped twice. I was almost kidnapped and murdered. And that's just telling my story. And I look nothing like I did when I was trafficked. People wouldn't even recognize me. I've gained so much weight. Can you imagine what would happen to me if I shared their names publicly?
What's the matter? They couldn't get you in the trunk.
You're a terrible person. No, you want to know the honest truth?
But like, who knows? But
they sent people posing as survivors to friend me on TikTok, and I trusted these women, and I was going to go to a retreat that didn't even exist, and that's what they were doing.
So they want you, your parents want you gone?
Mm-hmm. They either want me back or they want me dead.
Jesus.
And I've been gone for 14 years. Almost. A month and a half shy of 14 years.
That's insanity.
It is.
That's insane. Like, they really think that they own you.
Mm-hmm. But yeah, we'll go celebrate Juneteenth and say that, slavery ended. It didn't.
It didn't. It just changed colors and age.
Well, it's not even that, but it's when slavery happened, they didn't hide it during the slave trade. Now, because slavery is illegal, they hide it, but it's hidden in plain sight.
Yeah.
Every time I went out with my parents. We looked like a normal family. I looked like a normal girl. No one knew the signs. Plus, it was the 80s and 90s. No one paid attention. Like, I tell people that I went to grade school with about it, and they're like, but I slept at your house. I'm like, okay. So they didn't do it that night. They did other nights. And that's what it's so infuriating that now, even more because of Jim Caviezel and Tim Ballard talking and saying whatever they can to get themselves donations, they're taking away from victims, they're taking away from survivors, and they are only making the problem worse. I love The Sound of Freedom. I thought it was done very well. But I knew Tim Ballard's work when I went to see that movie, and I thought they, did his work very well. But the problem is, you've got the QAnoners, you've got the Trump supporters, you've got all of these people that think it validates all of these rumors that are surrounding trafficking, and it somehow makes them true. And it's not, it didn't do that at all.
Yeah, but I mean, it's such a, I don't like it on in the same, but I feel the same way on the other side. Like it's such a small minority of people that are making the biggest noise. You know what I mean? I think and that's the problem.
It's
and
not
with
though. See,
but
you're not
with but,
in that community because you're not a survivor.
no. I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about the people who are talking about it as the QAnon, the Trump supporters, the people on the other side that talk about that kind of stuff. About it's small. I feel like it's a small minority of people that talk loudly about it, like the Jim Caviezel's and Tim Ballard's and stuff. I don't think I'm explaining it correctly. I just think it's the small. It's like when everybody says, "Well, it was mostly a peaceful protest. 94% of the people." I think that a lot of people just don't understand, and they see this stuff in a movie or whatever, and then they think they know. Listen, when I was a kid, I went to see RoboCop, and I thought I came out a robot. Okay. So I think they go in there thinking they don't know anything. Finally, they get this, and they're just like, "Oh, that must be the way it is." And they don't take the time to listen to somebody like you or listen. They go by, and the news takes all that stuff, and the news takes it and blows it up, like Fox News and CNN. All these mainstream media takes their side and their stance
and the other thing,
their people, and they. Can I explain? I just let you have the floor for about 45 minutes, all right? Can I explain my point of view?
I didn't. I thought you were done. It glitched.
You glitched. Anyway, I think it's people. It's a small minority of people who are on these mainstream media shows who have the loudest voice, and a lot of people don't know and don't research this stuff and don't listen to actual survivors and don't listen. But there needs to be more people like you. And I know it's hard for actual assault survivors to speak about it because it hurts. It hurts. I mean, it hurts. And I know it hurts. And it you can see it on their face. They get that stare when they talk about it. And they don't want to talk. They want to kind of forget about it ever happening. And sometimes, and so there's a lot of, and that's what like made me pissed. That's what pissed me off about like the Me Too movement and all this other stuff. And they're talking about it, and then the girl who had a bad date with Aziz Ansari and then called it a sexual assault. Was like, no, it was just bad sex, ma'am. Sorry. But what they do is they actually quiet the voice of someone like you, an actual survivor who has the true story of the real things that happen, and it's like you're screaming in the wind, and you're like, that's what happened.
I literally had a woman comment on one of my videos that she refuses to listen to my story unless I name politicians.
But this is why I told you the whole Andrew Tate thing. Is because that's what happens when you have one side of the story. That's what happens when you let one person talk.
Tate
and
does not deserve the platform that he's being given. No,
everybody
he does
deserves.
Not.
Everybody.
He does
you want to hear both sides. You want to hear both sides, just like
he's
it's the
lying.
Same thing as somebody. It's the same thing as somebody telling you that you're lying. It's the same thing.
He has, like I showed you, he has bragged about it. But you have the same people that are saying you need to go see The Sound of Freedom so we can end trafficking. Those same people are praising Andrew Tate, who is a self-proclaimed trafficker. He admits to it over and over again. And I've seen comments where people are like, okay, well, I can understand how lying to someone and getting them into prostitution may be considered illegal. That's not maybe. That is the exact definition of sex trafficking. That's coercion.
There was still people who wanted to marry Charles Manson till the day he died. Okay,
I know, and I want to marry the BTK killer.
Okay, you're just as nuts as some, but you can't help.
But the thing
that
is,
a lot of people don't want to do their own research or listen.
And that's the thing. Like, You have all the, if you're going to sit here, and I'm not talking about you, if you're going to sit here and say that you are in the fight to end trafficking, you need to denounce Andrew Tate, denounce anyone that gives him a platform, because he's giving a step by step of how to do it. And you're giving him a platform to continue to just mind fuck everybody. And he lies. He branded these women. Even if the trafficking part is proven to be false, which it's not going to be. I've read the case. He branded them owned by Andrew Tate. Who the fuck does that? And why are you giving that kind of person a platform? Because people are going to think that this is okay, because people think trafficking is getting kidnapped, getting put in a shipping container on a boat, taken to another country, and sold off for auction. So when you give
like
a
in
trafficker,
Lethal Weapon 4?
I was talking more like Taken and The Sound of Freedom, but
Yeah.
but it's like
I
when
like
you
Lethal
get
Weapon
people
4
like
when they had the
Andrew,
little Chinese people in the boat, and they were like, "Yeah, we're just adopting these Chinese people."
but when you're giving people like Andrew Tate a platform to sit here and lie and say that all he did was had these girls make TikTok videos, that's not true. It was also OnlyFans accounts. And you can see that by pulling up these TikTok videos. They all lead to OnlyFans, and we all know what OnlyFans is. But nobody
They have
wants
comedies
to.
and car shows on OnlyFans.
No, they do not. Shut the
Yes,
fuck
they
up.
do. They have them.
I
They have an
won't.
app.
I will not
They
give.
have an
I will
app.
not sign up for OnlyFans because it is filled with trafficking victims. The same thing with Pornhub, and the same thing with so many other sites. But
Just to hear you say that made me laugh. I am not signing up for OnlyFans.
I won't.
And listen, and you're absolutely right. You're absolutely right. And before we did this or talk, I never realized that. I never realized any of that shit because once I was one of those people. Like I didn't know. I was just like, oh, it's free, it's cool. And now that you've said that, like it's something I don't go to.
OnlyFans existed during the pandemic because they weren't allowed to send their trafficking victims out into the world because of the lockdown. So they forced them to do that.
And then they told every woman that they can start an OnlyFans, and they have some.
And that's how most of them get taken into it. So even when it comes to prostitution, it is not consensual. There isn't a single thing about prostitution that's consensual. People think there is. But once that door shuts and that money is exchanged, and it's exchanged before anything happens, you cannot say no. You have to let them do whatever they want. If you cannot withdraw consent, you cannot give consent. For it to be truly consensual, you have to be able to withdraw it at any time. But nobody wants to talk about that because they want to protect sex worker rights. Sex workers are trafficking victims. Prostitution is sex trafficking. It is synonymous. But people don't want to talk about it because they know
the oldest
someone.
Profession in the United States.
It's not a profession. It's illegal. It's the oldest trauma.
Aren't we all prostitutes for our companies?
Well, but that's the thing. It's at the end of the day, my biggest video went to 2.2 million views. The next closest I had was about 150,000. But I've seen videos with 14, 15, even 20 million views of some girl sitting in a car talking about how she just found a zip tie on her car. And she's so terrified, but she's sitting in the parking lot. So you just walked out of a Walmart and saw a zip tie, which is a trafficker, which, by the way, this has been proven to be false over and over and over and over and over again. And you were so terrified, but you didn't leave. And then say, oh, well, I talked to the police and they said to go to a populated area. You were in a fucking Walmart parking lot in the middle of the day. Unless you drive your car into the middle of an NFL stadium, you don't get more populated than that. But people eat that up, and they're the ones that get all the attention. And then the
Listen.
survivors that comment, this is not a trafficking tactic, get attacked.
Yeah, of course. Of course. You see it. Like you said, with Andrew Tate and all of them. You see it constantly. People defending these pieces of shit.
Mm-hmm.
You know,
and it's not just that they defend Andrew Tate; they treat him like he's a role model, and he is the exact proof that if someone says what you want to hear about the topics that you question about the government, you don't give a fuck what he does. Because I know a lot of people that claim that they want to save the children, but they support Andrew Tate because of what he said about COVID. I don't give a fuck what he said, if it's true or not. He's a sex trafficker. He does not deserve the platform that he has. And Tucker Carlson, Candace Owens, they'll have them on. How many survivors have they had on to talk to about it? None. They'll talk to the trafficker, but not the trafficked victims.
Have you tried to get on there?
Oh, yeah.
And they said no.
I didn't get a response. Sean Ryan did an entire show with it was Ryan Montgomery, and he's supposed to be an ethical hacker. I reached out to both of them, and they said in the episode to reach out to them and that they would help victims to get their videos taken down off of websites. I haven't heard anything back. And now Sean Ryan's bitching because his video with Jim Caviezel talking about adrenochrome, which again is a lie and has been proven over and over to be a lie and a rumor, got taken down off YouTube. Well, now it's going up on X or Twitter or whatever the fuck we're calling it this week. And all that does is spread false information. Yeah, all that does is spread false information. You want to know how the guy kidnapped me? He found out I was homeless. He found out that my daughters were living with their father. He found out that I had just escaped a traumatic situation. I didn't know it was called trafficking. I talked about it as domestic violence. So he offered to, and I was struggling with addiction. He offered to help me curb my addiction. He told me he would take me closer to my daughters and moved me halfway across the country. So I was only an hour away from them. And I didn't even realize I was kidnapped till I was with him for 2 weeks. It was that easy. And that was like, it took about 4 months for me to finally agree to go with him. And still, I didn't even know it was called sex trafficking. And when I went to press charges, I couldn't because it had been so long. It had been 10 years when I went to press charges.
All right, I'm getting depressed now. I have to end this. I can't do this no more, Kellie.
Well, my message is that these rumors, these lies are hurting people because they're making them more susceptible to being trafficked. Most women that are my age are trafficked by their spouse. And most children are trafficked by their parents or a grandparent or a teacher or a coach. That's where it's happening. It's happening in front of people's faces, but they won't look at it. But they want me to get up and say the name of every politician that I was trafficked to because that's somehow going to change the world.
It's the end of the world as we know it.
Oh, God, it is.
It's the end of the world as we know it. And I feel fine.
No, you don't.
No, I don't. But on that note, my fucking brain is killing me right now. My brain hurts from all this trauma. I feel like I was trafficked for 2 hours.
Yeah, because me telling you about it was the same thing as it happening to me.
Listen, you told me last week, your trauma is my trauma.
No, I said your wife's is yours.
This is true. Anyway. It was a very fun episode. I liked it. This was fun. I had a really good time. I learned a lot. You know,
I can't wait for next week. You're gonna love my daughter.
I can't wait either. I get to talk about Taylor Swift.
Well, what we're gonna talk about is they are saying that she performed satanic rituals, and many Swifties are saying that after her Eras tour, which she's currently on right now, that they have amnesia and cannot remember the entire concert. And they're blaming this satanic ritual. My daughter actually knows exactly what song and dance that they're talking about, and she remembers it. I remember it. I watched it on live stream, but
Listen, I
So-
know when I went to the Taylor Swift show a couple years ago, I remember the whole thing, and it was phenomenal. And I was shaking.
I've
it
never
off.
been. Honestly, I did not really like Taylor Swift. She kind of annoyed me, but my daughters listened to her, so now I'm listening to her. And
Is it because she is what you could have been?
no, I can't sing for shit.
Tall, blonde, and beautiful, and you're not?
Carlos.
You motherfucker! You motherfucker! Oh, you're lucky you have no teeth in that mouth because they were coming out. I might just throw your fake teeth away. I might just throw your fake teeth away.
Like I care. I don't even wear them.
Yeah, this is true. Well, Gumby, where are you going to be?
Will you get me a Gumby shirt?
I'm going to fucking get you a Gumby shirt. Yeah,
Please do.
I'm going to get you a Gumby outfit. And
No,
you're gonna
not
have to
the
wear
outfit,
it.
just a
No,
shirt.
you're going to wear the Gumby outfit on the podcast.
No, I get too hot because of menopause.
Men have never paused with you. All right, let's fucking end this. Kel, where can everybody find you? Apparently in a funeral house, funeral home, because you're dead.
You can. You know when I say you're like a brother to me, it's more like a stepbrother.
Yeah, no. You dare fucking sit in a dryer. I got stuck in it. No. Brother's fine. I don't. They're both weird because of your situation.
What? What are you talking about?
Because your family. Did you have any brothers?
Yeah, biological brothers, not stepbrothers.
Yeah.
I was talking about you. I said you're more like a stepbrother, not a brother.
Yeah,
Everyone hates their stepbrothers.
Oh, no, not really. A lot
They're
of people
forced
like-
to love them.
Yeah. Well. Can we go
Anyways.
before I get more in trouble and say something more stupid? Because I'm gonna. Anyway, where can they find you? Besides the corner.
I can't with you. You're bad. Okay, you can find me at the Unbroken Podcast, which is on all major podcast platforms, including Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, Amazon Music, Spotify. You can also find my nonprofit, which supports sex trafficking survivors in basically moving on with their lives and past the emergency stage where they just escape at the afterthelastsailfoundation.com. All my social media is linked at the top of the page, and I am on Instagram, Facebook, and X, Twitter, whatever we're calling it this week. Mostly Beautiful Mistake 924 or After the Last Sail Foundation.
And you can find me at MW Troublemaker on X, Twitter, whatever it's called. All my stuff is in there in my Insta bio.
I want the bird back.
Yeah, we don't
miss
have an
the bird.
outro. I forgot about that.
We had the squirrel video.
Oh, I didn't put it on here. I gotta put it.
I love
See if
that
I can
squirrel.
see if I can find it.
I
But
sent
yeah,
you another squirrel video too. You gotta watch it on TikTok.
You can, yeah. You can find me at Troublemaker Davey on TikTok. Like I said, I revamped my other TikTok account. It's just Davey. You can follow me on my journey to get back to, finding myself and the Lord Jesus Christ and God, because I need that. It's about recovery and that too. So, but yeah, I'm not going to be any more serious because
FYI, we're gonna have real severe storms over the weekend. By the way, where you live and where I live, tornadoes, hail, wind,
tornadoes. So, but with that, folks, we will see you next week. That's not what I wanted. That's not the one I wanted to share. I fucked it up. Can I do this? Okay, we'll do this. There we go. And with that, we will see you. Can I share this? No, I can't share it like that.
We're gonna get this getting off live down eventually.
And with that, we'll see you next week.